So in this video, I'm just going to talk about the unintended consequences of some of the policy that government are trying to implement in the housing market in the UK. There is a paper called the Pharaoh Rental, which is proposing to take out Section 21 and make it that much harder for landlords to deal with tenants who are perhaps not paying, not obeying the rules, antisocial behavior or whatever else. So whilst the paper suggests that it will make it easier for tenants to stay on for longer, bearing in mind that no landlord wants a good paying customer to leave, it almost suggests that taking Section 21 out of the rule book and allowing tenants or allowing landlords to remove tenants who are not sticking to the tenancy rules is a bad thing. Now the challenge is what's happening as an unintended consequences of this is a few and more I hear every week now on my social media that landlords are becoming even more discriminant about who they rent to. What I mean by that is every day I'm speaking to people and they say, look, you know what, actually, unless people have got these kind of documents, payslip, bank statement, a secured job where they can feasibly see that the tenant's going to be able to afford the rent, they are almost saying that we're not going to now take on anybody who may have an issue with payment. Well, the problem with that is you can understand from a business perspective, no business wants to be with non-paying customers. And if the regulations change as they are proposing to change, which is no Section 21 eviction, you can't remove people if they, or you can go to court with Section 8 to remove them if they don't pay rent. But that takes 6 months in terms of timeline. So the landlord is losing income. And if you do that a few times a year, you are in severe debt. So those regulatory changes to protect more tenants rather than landlord rights is also causing this angst amongst the landlord population, because landlords are not wanting to take a risk of taking a tenant who may end up not paying them their rent, and that is totally understandable. So what does that mean then in translation in terms of for people to actually now rent a place? What's happening is landlords are saying, actually, you know what, if you don't meet all of these criteria, and the criteria have just racked up even higher than what it was before, because people think if I get the wrong tenant, I can't evict them, I'm going to be stuck for a long while paying and losing income. So this is then now translated into a serious lack of properties available in the market, and for a certain segment of the population. So people, I can imagine, with unsecured jobs, 0-hour contract, people on universal credit, all of these people are going to find it extremely hard now to find places where before that they would have been fairly okay to find lots of options to rent. So that change, along with the fact that given the Section 24 that was passed during George Osborne's tenure at the Exchequer, which removed the ability for landlords to deduct their interest-only mortgage off their tax, that has caused a huge exodus in the landlord population, and that then has reduced the amount of properties available in the private rental sector. Because of those two things, one is the regulatory changes that's been proposed at the moment is forcing landlords to reconsider who they take and have to be even more discriminant on their choices. And the second one is the pool of landlords. Even the landlord who had the one house has now sold because they are going to be taxed more severely because of Section 24, and they can't take out their mortgage payment. They have also sold. A big section of them have sold. Those two now are combining to reduce the supply of property, and when you reduce the supply of property, the prices will go up, because you have still an excessive amount of now demand that's built up post-COVID, more people wanting to move now, but all of a sudden you restrict the availability of these properties, and that then causes this huge price spike in rental prices. I mean, we are now renting a 3-bedroom house in London that used to rent at 1,300 quid for a large number of years. All of a sudden, we are getting inquiries at the rate of £1,600. So it's almost a £300 increase in the last 2 years or so, which is outrageous. And there are so many people calling for these properties. Today, I'm just talking to a couple of my property managers in Kent. Again, rental increases has gone from £750 to almost £900 in the space of about 12 months. So, and we have more and more people calling for these properties. So I think there are some unintended consequences that's going to still appear, and I think especially if this new proposal to remove section 21 for landlords to be able to get back their property, bearing in mind that Pharaoh Rental white paper that's been proposed at the moment only gives the landlord three reasons for them to be able to get back their property. 1, section 8, if you don't pay your rent after 2 months, the landlord can take you to court and get that property back, but that costs a lot of money and it takes more than 2 months by the time you get your keys back. Second, antisocial behavior, but my God, how hard is that going to be to be able to prove antisocial behavior, and for how long that's going to be allowed to happen before somebody can go to court and evict the tenant. And the third one, if you are going to either move in yourself or you're going to be selling it. Those are going to be the only 3 reasons why a landlord will be allowed to requisition his or her house back from tenants. I think that is going to have a massive detrimental effect on the private rental sector, and I think you will find that either more landlord exits the market, reducing the supply of private rental sector, and also secondly, there will be another bout of rental increase, because just by sheer economics, you reduce the amount of supply, the demand is either stagnant or goes up, you will get the price spike. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you in the next video.